Let me then proceed to introduce a good friend, a good colleague, a good comrade of mine, Norman Hill. Norman Hill was someone that I've spent a lot of time in the last half year working with, because as many of you know, we just went through the 50th anniversary of the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. And Norman played a very important role in that march. First, he and a friend of his, Tom Kahn, were called upon by Bayard Rustin to help him develop a conception for that march. And then Norman worked as staff coordinator of the march under Bayard Rustin. What Norman will tell you is that's just the title. I just ran around all over the Northeast and the Middle West, organizing everybody I could find to come to the march. So Norman is a person who has a distinguished career as a civil rights leader and as a labor activist. He is the president emeritus of the A. Philip Randolph Institute, which is the organization of African American trade unionists. He was one of the first African Americans to graduate from Haverford College. He spent a great deal of time working in the civil rights movement with the Congress of Racial Equality. And then in the 1960s, after the March on Washington, he moved over to doing labor movement work, including working with the AFL-CIO department. We invited Norman today because an important theme of this conference is that CTE, Career Technical Education, is a way to open up opportunities for students who have historically not had those opportunities. And that's very important. And Norman is precisely the right person to emphasize that theme for us. So without any further ado, let me bring Norman up.
Thank you very much, Leo, for that very kind and overly generous introduction. What I would like to do briefly is to provide some context for this conference. I begin by noting that many high school students do not want to go from high school into a four-year academically oriented college, or at least not right away. They want an education that will prepare them for a career. High schools and post-secondary education, therefore, should educate these students for jobs or for post-high school job training. Career and technical education, supported by the American Federation of Teachers, the Albert Shanker Institute, and our host, the United Federation of Teachers, has emerged as a response to this need. CTE has become particularly important at a time when a greater number of skilled workers are needed, since today's economy has become increasingly dependent on technical abilities. For example, office jobs may require computer skills much more than old-fashioned secretarial skills. Since today's jobs are far more sophisticated than the jobs being replaced, and since the new jobs will evolve rapidly, career and technical education also includes intellectually vigorous academic training that is integrated with skill training. It also enables students to go on to a four-year college should they choose to do so. Therefore, career and technical education is not like the old vocational training schools that diverted students, especially minority students, from the college-bound track, and instead put them on a track to dead-end jobs with a lifetime of poverty. On the contrary, CTE is especially beneficial for minority youth. We all know that Black and Latino youth have much higher unemployment rates than others. Also, we know that they are more likely to come from families with no skilled worker role model and below the poverty line. But what CTU does is offer them a way to overcome the poverty that has bedeviled their families for generations, and in fact is a way to a better and more prosperous future as an integral part of the increasingly complex and tactical workplace. It is in that context that I want to suggest and put forward some of the context for this conference. Thank you.